Sounds good.
That's all, Chief.
Oh, I sent you an email this morning. Richard Williams, I was out most of yesterday. Richard Williams sent an email yesterday that he said, no big deal about Godfrey being out. He said, I had scheduled this trip. We'll just do inspection later, next trip.
It's a private service.
I think we need,
So I didn't even include that.
Side note, we need to be out in America.
Shit, we better get started.
Let me get commission funds.
Ahí está.
Pegando en todos los cilindros.
Es todo, ching. No falla ni uno.
No.
Qué linda fiesta de los niños.
See, I've been doing that for the last 8 or 10 years.
Good morning.
Joe, buenos días.
Good morning, sir.
¿Cómo me dijeron?
I was hiding over there. Bring a pen today.
let me see if I got an extra.
You got an extra one? I got some in my truck. I don't know why.
Let me check.
Good morning. We want to welcome you this morning to the regular meeting of the Hidalgo County Drainage District Board of Directors. Meeting for today, May 14, 2013. Present are Commissioner Cuellar, Precinct 1, Palacios, Precinct 2, Flores, Precinct 3, and myself. We have a quorum. Anything under open forum?
No, sir.
Our consent agenda, any concerns?
No concerns, Judge.
No concerns?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Those in favor of approving our consent agenda indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item number 4.
Item 4, requesting approval to utilize the district's option to extend RFQ number 12002-0215 title company services for 1 year under the same rates, terms, and conditions with the following firms: Valley Land and Title Company and Edwards Abstract and Title Company. Basically, we're requesting to extend our existing contract for an additional year.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, requesting approval to utilize the district's option to extend RFQ number 12003-0215 title report services for 1 year under the same rates, terms, and conditions with the following firms: South Texas Land Investigations and Valley Land and Title Company.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 5 was as requested by the board previously. Item 5A, discussion and action, professional liability insurance, as requested by the Hidalgo County Drainage System Number 1 Board of Directors on May 7, 2013. I've got some general information for the board to consider on the following options. We went back and talked with various engineering firms regarding the insurance requirements that the district was looking at. And in a whole, what happens for every additional $1 million that the district requires, it'll be about $33,000 more, even under the professional umbrella. So if we go back with $5 million, it could be about $150,000 more per firm if we were to expand the insurance from the $2 million, to keep the $2 million that we're expanded to, and plus the additional $5. In additional information, researching with TxDOT, TxDOT itself requires no professional engineering insurance with the consultants that work for TxDOT. Traditionally, the insurance or the companies carry about $2 million worth of professional liability, but it is not a requirement of TxDOT. They hold the firm accountable for whatever issues come up on the design phase of it. So in general, that's the information we have on the professional liability insurance. I'm here to discuss any options the board might have before I give you my opinion and recommendations on it.
Godfrey.
Yes, sir.
I understand TxDOT has $500,000 workers' comp. I'm sorry, yeah. Hold on. $500,000 workers' comp, and then they've got auto liability $500,000. Professional liability is not required.
That is correct, sir.
Okay. And I've been looking at this because I've had some people call me and I've been looking at it. Why couldn't we just go with a $2 million commercial general liability, professional liability $2 million, Texas business auto for $1 million, and workers' comp for $1 million?
We can, Commissioner, if that's the wishes of the court. what we would have to do is the board would have to adopt that insurance requirement, and then we'd have to go and put a new RFQ.
So what is
identify-
it you're wanting, $1 million?
I'd like for the board to consider going back to the way our insurance policy was before we took action, and allow us to work with the county purchasing department and putting an insurance requirement to make sure that both entities put out an RFQ at the same time, so we don't have a discrepancy. So if the board would consider going back and moving to our previous insurance for a period of 4 months, 5 months, or 6 months, while we work with the purchasing department to put those specific requirements that you're speaking about out in a new RFQ, we wouldn't be stopped from moving forward with the program that we have right now. But it's up to the
Godfrey,
board.
this whole experience started because really what we were requesting that I remember is that whatever insurance there was, whether it was $1 million, I think it was $1 million.
Yes, sir.
That it be project specific. That way, if there was a need for coverage, that there would be insurance. And not be left hanging like we have been in some other cases where by the time we get around to suing an individual or a company, they've already been sued once or twice and the money's gone.
Yes, sir, and we've gone back in our
If,
records.
I've got some numbers here. If
Yes,
you go project specifically, on, say, a 1 million, it costs $33,000 per project.
30, yes, sir.
Yes, on a 2 million, it'd be 42,000. So it just keeps going higher and higher. It's gonna cost an engineer maybe 200 or 300 extra $1,000 just to do it.
Plus the subs that are underneath them
Yeah.
also.
Godfrey, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
From a historical perspective, have we ever had any claims filed against an
The-
engineering firm? Because we're specifically talking about engineering. I know we're not looking at building facilities under this pool. Can you give us
The district, and I went back and checked on it, Commissioner, the district has never filed a lawsuit or had a claim on defective engineering work ourselves. The closest one that I remember, but it was more in the design build, was the jail when the county got engaged.
Yeah.
The other major one that I recall out there was when the school districts went after a lot of engineerings on structural deficiencies on a lot of the school districts. But the drainage district itself, we've never gone and gotten into a litigation with an engineer on issues regarding design. That's just the district.
Well, have you looked at, my concern is if we do up the limit, who's gonna pay for it? Is it the engineer or is it the county?
Well, the county or the district are gonna pay for it.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I've looked out there and we would have the most stringent requirements. So the engineering firms that want to work with the county or the district, we're the ones that are requiring, because none of the other clients are. But large firms like your LNGs, your SMBs, your Tannenbaums, those firms carry these traditionally 2 million plus the coverage because they do a lot of work for TxDOT and they're major firms. And again, their insurance premium is based on what their gross is per year. So if they're doing $5 million or $10 million or $20 million in fees, that's what triggers their percentages. And then on a smaller firm, let's say that does $600,000 a year, going out there and getting a $2 million or a $4 million policy, I believe the insurance company will come back and say, well, what's going on? You know, you're such a small firm and you want this large coverage, you know, are we exposing ourselves to potential litigation? And those are just general comments.
Do we need a motion on this?
You need a motion, Godfrey?
We do on the following item, but again, if the wishes of the board to go back to the way we were, we would probably entertain option 2, which is carrying back to the original $1 million liability insurance that we had. And if that's the case, then, you know, we'd have to go back and take some action on item B's and C's to activate that particular item.
I would recommend that we keep it the way it is.
The way it was.
The way
Yeah, the way it was, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'll move
Which
it.
is $1 million.
Yeah, move for approval.
And with the stipulation that we go back and take a look at it
Yes, sir.
for future.
And I'll coordinate with the purchasing department to get some package to you on that particular item.
You know, maybe when there's a particular project coming up, say a big building or something like that, whoever gets that project, maybe we can back,
On that.
and then ask them, you know, you need a separate insurance for this.
And I know that Houston has done that, Commissioner, on several projects, Harris County Flood Control. Depending on the project, when they select the engineer, they increase the professional liability on the
Because
project
it's not that
specific.
much on building a road than building a building. I mean,
Yes, sir.
usually you're gonna have some problems on, say, we ever built a courthouse.
Yes, sir.
You would need so much insurance for that
Yes, sir.
particular project.
Okay. So on considering action would be option 2, which is previous professional liability insurance requirements are as follows. Policy with the limits of at least $1 million per occurrence or limited to claim made, included at least 5 years extended reporting period. That's what we had before.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'll second.
Which one are you doing? Occurrence?
Option
or
2, sir.
Claims made?
A,
You
under,
can't have both, is what I'm saying.
sir?
If you read option 2, which, well, I agree the amount, but per occurrence or claims made? Which one are
Claims
you
made, sir.
selecting?
That's the way we had it before.
Okay, well, then you need to take out occurrence.
Oh, yeah, we need, the language of the item.
So it is per occurrence?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, it is per
That's the way
occurrence.
it
I
is worded,
apologize.
sir.
Okay.
That's the way it was before?
Yes, sir.
I apologize.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Moving on to item B, pursuant to the board's decision requesting approval to rescind action taken by the Hidalgo County District Number 1 Board of Directors on April 2nd, 2013, agenda item number 37957B, as it relates to Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1, current professional liability insurance requirements of $2 million, standalone project specific. I would request action to rescind that particular item.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C, pursuant to the board's decision requesting approval to rescind action taken by the Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 Board of Directors on April 9th, 2013, agenda item number 38018E, as it relates to Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1, excuse me, RFQ number 13030222A, professional engineering pool with previous professional liability insurance requirements of $1 million per occurrence or limited to claim made, include at least 5 years extended reporting period. Once this action is taken, if the board takes it, then the pool becomes reactivated and we can move forward with any pending projects that we have.
So moved.
Second.
All right, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
That's all we have, Commissioner, unless there's an item under executive session the board wishes to entertain.
Get a motion
So moved.
to adjourn?
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much, Judge Commissioners.
We'll start our regular meeting at 9:30. Good morning. We want to welcome you this morning to the regular meeting of the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court for today, May 14, 2013. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Townsend?
Dear Father in heaven, bless us this day. Thank you for the rain you have sent. Please send some more if possible. But sometimes we forget to say thank you for the blessings that you give us. Help us today as we go through the business of the county. Help us remember that we're going to try to do everything that helps everybody in the county. Help all of our parents, of the people who have sacrificed and given up their sons and daughters to have freedom in this country. Bless all our troops wherever they are. And we ask you to especially bless the family that's going through it right now, trying to bury their son. And we ask all these things in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Please remain standing and join me in a moment of silence in honor of Army Specialist Kevin Cardosa, who is being remembered today by his family, friends, and the entire Hidalgo County community for paying the ultimate price for our freedom. During this special Memorial Week, we will also remember all those law enforcement officers who have been killed in the line of duty protecting us here at home. I am to announce that the office of Texas Governor Rick Perry has ordered all state and national flags in the county of Hidalgo and any adjoining political subdivisions to be flown at half-staff today and tomorrow in honor of Army Specialist Kevin Cardosa. His letter to be read is as follows. Dear Judge Garcia, first, on behalf of the governor and our office, let me express our sincere condolences at the loss of this courageous Texan. Your community should be proud that it produced such an honored and brave man. As per your request, all state and national flags in the county of Hidalgo and any adjoining political subdivisions may be lowered immediately to half-staff in honor of the life and military service of United States Army Specialist Kevin Cardosa of Hidalgo County, Texas. Flags should return to full staff on Thursday, May 16, 2013. Thank you. All right, under open forum, first presenter is Mr. Ricardo Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez. Can you let's move on to Opal Billman. We'll come back to him.
Consent agenda.
Okay, vamos a acabar con ella. I'll get to it.
Good morning. My name is Opal Billman. Ownership of private property in this country is protected by the 5th and 14th Amendments to the Constitution, along with very good private property law, and in this case also community property law. If in a divorce action, the judge appointed a beneficiary for our community property and presents that the beneficiary is our divorce settlement. I am not all right with that. I will never be all right with it. Joe Billman died. He bequeathed nothing to the court-appointed beneficiary. Property owned by Joe at the time of his death remains the estate of Joe Billman. He didn't sell it. Nobody bought it. Joe Billman still owns it. I know what I'm talking about. In Hidalgo County, my father owned land for 50 years after his death. It was his estate. State law passes Joe's estate to his 3 adult children. The judge has no authority to appoint someone and give all of our community property to him and call it our divorce settlement. The person he appointed has no business in our divorce settlement and should have bowed out years ago instead of hanging on to property owned by Joe and me, waiting for us to die so it can be his. The law is when Joe died, the case was dismissed. Why am I still a litigant? And why is my opposing litigant the state? Because a divorce petition is being used to walk away with everything we worked for and invested in for free, a payment to us of nothing. All I ever asked was that the law be upheld. Why does it involve the crime of 16 years of police-enforced false imprisonment, 2 trials with plans for the 3rd, and seekers of finder's fees with mob mentality tearing up my house as a means to force me out of and off of property that I own? Do you know anybody that dredged a lake? It was one of the things that Joe and I did. We dredged a lake. Our lake has characteristics of an aquifer. It has its own water. Most man-made lakes have to be supplied with water from the irrigation district. Ours doesn't. The lake is located on John H. Sherry, Lot 184, which was purchased in 1942 by Mildred and Willis Billman. I would like the judge to explain exactly what in his mind he thinks he did. His court-appointed beneficiary has as much right.
You have about 30 seconds, Ms. Billman.
Okay. His court-appointed beneficiary has as much right to our community property as I do to everything you own, which is absolutely no right at all. Just as I am entitled to nothing that belongs to you, the judge cannot appoint a person to give our property to upon the occasion of our deaths. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Next presenter, we'll go back to Ricardo Rodriguez.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. This is Mr. Rodriguez, and he's going to speak in Spanish, and I will do my best to translate what he is saying.
All right. Good morning, sir.
Mire, traigo 2 inventos para la agricultura, uno para ahorrar agua y otro para hacer 4 trabajos en una sola pasada con un implemento agrícola. Aquí se trata de modernizar la agricultura para bajar los costos de los precios, porque en un futuro, ahorita va creciendo la población y con el tiempo va a crecer demasiado y se va a necesitar más alimentación. Entonces, si la agricultura no la ponemos atención para que produzca más, va a ser un problema grandísimo para producir la alimentación. Entonces, el implemento agrícola es para aplicar un plástico abajo de la tierra para ahorrar agua.
Okay, he is here to present on a couple of inventions that he has in regard to agriculture. He says one will help with the water issue by putting a plastic underneath the land as they're irrigating. Okay.
Sí, mire, el plástico se puede poner de 16 hasta 20 pulgadas. Entonces, cuando se riega, se va hasta 100 pulgadas. Entonces, se va a ahorrar en un 75%. Entonces, se va a quedar más agua en las presas para que con el tiempo se necesite más agua, va a haber agua suficiente. El ahorro es indispensable a cómo están las cosas ahorita.
His invention will help to save water so that it stays where it needs to be and we can produce more agriculture.
Bueno, si hay alguna pregunta que me la hagan, porque yo creo que es todo lo que voy a explicar ya.
Ahorita no se puede hacer preguntas.
Bueno.
He just wanted to present his ideas for his invention, and if you have any questions, I
Thank
guess
you.
that will be all.
¿Está bien?
Gracias.
Okay,
Gracias.
Thank you.
Next presenter is Emi Zuniga.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here representing the members from the Texas Organizing Project in Lopezville. And first, we do want to thank Commissioner Palacios for the lights that did go up. But we've been calling several times to speak to Mr. Siliguero, and he referred us to the engineer, Mr. Cecine, and then we've been calling Mr. Siliguero to no avail. There's been no response or anything. We were promised that the lights in Lopezville that were going to go up were going to be on Church Street, which is where the majority of the murders have been happening. And instead, the lights went up in the back part of Lopezville that doesn't have as much crime as Kennedy, Water Street, Pueblo, and Church Street. We've been working with Father Jerry from the San Juan Church, St. John's. He's been helping us to try to organize the people there to fight for lights, and this is something that we've been fighting for a long time and that the residents have been fighting for since before I got there. And the main problem is that we got one phone call back from Mr. Silguero, and since then, we just stopped calling about a week ago because he never called us back. The one time he did call us back, it was just to refer us to Mr. Cecine. But Mr. Cecine is not the person we have been wanting to speak to. We've been wanting to talk to you, Commissioner, but Mr. Silguero has not returned our phone calls. So we do thank you for the lights that have gone up, but we really have been wanting him to call us back to set up a meeting with you, and we have heard nothing. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Our consent agenda, item 4, any concerns? Mr. Ofracio, is he around? Well, let's move on to another item.
He's here.
Yes, sir, Mr. Ofracio, on the consent agenda, any concerns?
Yes, I would like to ask that consent agenda item 9A, 11F, 11J, 11P, and 11Q be pulled for discussion.
Move for approval of consent agenda excluding 9A, 11F, 11J, 11P, and 11Q.
And I am, if I may interject, I am also asking that 11G also be not considered.
11G.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Agenda item 9A, Judge, that's in relation to a request from the district attorney to get reimbursed for meals when there was not a overnight stay required. The county policy doesn't allow for the reimbursement of such meals. However, if you want to approve the reimbursement, we would have to, the payment would have to be done through payroll and to be taxed on the meal reimbursement as per IRS regulations.
He traveled to Rancho Viejo, that's close to Brownsville?
Yeah, it's close to Brownsville. So he was commuting back and forth. Policy doesn't allow for reimbursement of meals when there's not an overnight stay.
Well, I think we ought to change the policy to allow for some kind of reasonable amount to be expended. If it's a necessary to conduct his business, that he conduct his travel.
That used to be the case, Judge. It was removed because it creates extra bookkeeping and paperwork, because that payment has to be made through payroll department. So it was taken out, but if you want to allow it, it would have to be run through payroll, and the individual would have to get taxed on the reimbursement.
Victor, have you looked at that issue?
Yes, we have, Judge, Commissioners, and there is a little bit of an inconsistency in the policy. In one component of the policy, it clearly states that out-of-county, in-state travel meals can be reimbursed. However, if we move down the policy, it's clear, as the auditor has pointed out, that overnight stays will not be reimbursed. We do recommend, or we're asking that the commissioners direct perhaps budget to look at that inconsistency in the policy. In this case, for example, Mr. Guerra thought it would be prudent to come home rather than to incur a higher expense for staying overnight at a hotel or there in Rancho Viejo for this convention he attended. on behalf of the county and that would benefit the county. So we can assume that that's the case when we have conventions at the island. Many employees are able to stay over there. Some choose to come home. Those that stay have the benefit of having their meal reimbursed. Those that come home that are cost conscious, our meals are not reimbursed. So certainly we would ask that the Commissioners Court direct perhaps budget. I know they've looked at the policy before. I spoke with Mr. Cruz this morning and pointed out that inconsistency. I think it's something that does need to be addressed, making some reasonable accommodation for those individuals who are cost conscious.
Why don't you work on the language?
Pardon me, Judge?
Why don't you work on the language amending our policy?
I can certainly do that, Judge, and I will get together with Budget, who I know previously looked at the travel policy, and we'll discuss it with the auditor as well.
Judge, I don't think there's a need to amend the policy. The policy is clear that out-of-county meal costs will be reimbursed. I mean, there's no question about it. However, if there's no overnight stay, then they're not reimbursed. Basically, what the policy says. So I don't think there needs to be a...
It's clear in one sense, and then there's a however there, Judge.
Right.
So it's an exception to the reimbursement.
But I think it's important that we take care of our employees. We're requiring them to travel to attend these conferences outside of our area. I mean, with the least we can do is pay for their travel and their meals.
Yeah, that's fine, because just FYI would be taxable reimbursement, according to the IRS regulations.
I think we need to pay for this, but we do need to look at our policy.
Right.
And really look at it and make it very clear.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioners.
Bring back an amendment to that policy to clear that up.
Okay, 11F, you going to address that, Marty?
And
That's
D?
On F,
D, no?
Well, 9A it's already approved. 11F is the next one, right?
it's been approved already by legal counsel. We uploaded this morning that approval that was done last year. And in the approval,
Okay, there was a couple of issues there. One is the termination date. Doesn't have a termination date, the agreement, and also the commitment of current revenue only clause
yes,
was
sir.
not included.
And we appreciate that those two items should become part of an agreement, but I believe the degree of the agreement is what Mrs. Ramirez, Mrs. Solis, rather, Josephine, is what was taken into account. At the point that we don't pay the rent, that will not only become the termination, we'd have to leave the premises. And the commitment to current revenues would be, since this is an ongoing, it would be if there's no money available, obviously the rent wouldn't get paid and it would be terminated. And so I discussed that with your staff this morning. Those were two items that Mr. Crane in the past has recommended, and Ms. Josephine is aware of that. However, in this case, she felt, and as she has in the past on some regular customary items, she would accept the form of agreement as it was written.
So does that approval by legal counsel address the concerns?
We still have to
The
approve it.
concern is that they wish to impose two additional clauses after Ms. Josephine has already approved it as to form.
Yeah, but it'd be better to approve it in Commissioner's Court. Move for approval.
Steve, would it be okay? Because I know this was a recommendation you had made in the past as far as the current revenue commitment clause.
And her comments in the past have been,
I got a question for Steve. Is that
well,
okay,
I just would like for him to have more information.
Okay.
In the past, she has considered that, but she feels that in the amount of the contract, and it is not of a major situation, she accepted it as to form.
Motion and a second to approve item 11F. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously.
Now, I heard you say
So I
11.
take it as,
11F.
I asked
We're
a
talking
question
about
from legal counsel. Take it, it's okay, Steve?
No, I know, we,
I didn't, Ms. Josephine approved the agreement, I didn't.
Right. No, but in the past, you have suggested for it to be included in there. So, is it just for your preference, basically? Or?
I'm just saying, I did not approve this agreement,
no, it was approved by her.
Or other legal counsel approved.
and I'd have
Yes.
to review the agreement before I can give an opinion.
No, we'll do it subject to legal.
Okay.
Go, move on to the next one. Huh?
And that's what I'm trying to clarify. Did I hear you say 11J?
Yes, ma'am.
It's
Go ahead,
not in the letter of
Go ahead and
concerns.
do 11G. I'm going to read it up. 11J.
We're going to have a swearing, let me announce this, a swearing-in ceremony for our newly elected or re-elected mayor of the city of Edinburgh, and that's going to take place sometime between 11:30 and 12. So we've got about an hour and a half to conduct this meeting.
Can you address 11G? That's your agenda item.
I know, but it's not, it wasn't on the concern, so let me find it first.
No, you read in that 11G when you said you have a...
Oh, 11G.
Right.
11G is just no
Oh, D,
action.
I'm sorry, I thought you said G.
It was 11G as in
Okay,
go.
sorry.
No action is what I'm requesting on that.
On 11G, okay.
Okay, that's what confused me.
And 11P?
And 11P,
No, get 11J, Judge.
yeah, 11J,
11J, it's a purchase of vehicles. Normally, the purchases of vehicles are on the regular agenda. That was the reason why I wanted to pull it out for discussion, but that's the only issue, not any other issue that I have.
oh, okay.
And you want me to read it for the record, Judge?
No, I've got it here then, 11J. Authorization and approval to purchase through the State of Texas Surplus Property Program under Chapter 2175001 of the Texas Local Government Code, Section 262.0249, 5 2010 Ford Crown Victorias and 2009 Ford Crown Victoria Police Intercept model vehicles for the total amount of $54,500 through requisition number 235739.
Those are used 4 cars, yeah. Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And the second item would be authority for the purchasing department to proceed with such a purchase.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
That included the authorization for a check to be cut pursuant to the instructions of the Texas Department, the State of Texas Surplus Program. Going on to 11P, the purchase requisition was not obtained. The reason it wasn't obtained is because we're renewing a contract with the off-premises storage. Once this is approved and we issue the extension of said contract, we then inform the user departments, of which there are several, to submit their requisition. But this should not keep it from being approved.
Your recommendation to approve it?
Is to approve it,
Move for
yes, sir.
approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item was 11Q. They're also recommending no action because the liability insurance, which is about to be, is not attached. We have notified, and we have submitted the information. We uploaded it on the agenda, and the auditor's office already received it, as well as the court reporter and Monica Vadio
All right.
No
this
action.
morning. Yes, so we can
You
proceed
need-
to approve.
We need action on it
Yes,
then.
sir.
Action to
Approve.
To approve,
Yes.
yes,
Move
sir.
for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I think
Thank you,
that's all
Marty.
I have. Thank you.
That's all, thank you.
All right. Let's move on. This morning, we have with us Ms. County Commissioner Sofia Benavides from Cameron County. Commissioner, welcome.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. There is nothing to report on item 6A, so we're going straight to item 6B, and this is a resolution in support of the SpaceX project. And yes, we have with us in our midst the Honorable Commissioner from Cameron County Precinct 1, Commissioner Sofia Benavides. I'm going to talk a little bit about the project, and I'd like to introduce the Commissioner to say a few words about the resolution. The proposal is to build the world's first commercial spaceport near Brownsville. Space Exploration Technologies Corporation would launch rockets from beachfront property near the U.S.-Mexico border. Today, I heard on the news this morning that the Texas legislature has considered a bill which would close Boca Chica Beach during these rocket launches, and the bill for approval is presently on Governor Perry's desk. Hidalgo County officials want to lend their support behind this project, which will spur economic benefits and employment opportunities for the South Texas region. Commissioner, would you like to say a few words about the project?
Good morning, Honorable Judge and Commissioners. Thank you so
Good
much for
morning,
having me
Commissioner.
here this morning. I appreciate your court considering approving this resolution in support of SpaceX. I'm really tickled pink because this is in my precinct, in Precinct 1. And we've had a lot of community support for this project. We had the second and final public hearing last week by the FAA, and we had over 500 people turn out, which is really history. The first one, we had over 577 people, and the FAA said that that is history for them. I know that this would be a great project, not only for Cameron County, but for the entire valley. And so therefore, I think you all have been provided a fact sheet on the different things that pertain to SpaceX. And again, I want to thank you all for having me here this morning and for passing this resolution.
I'd like to make a motion.
Second.
Those in favor of approving this resolution in support of this Space Exploration X indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you so
Well,
much.
good luck to you. I know that you've been competing with quite a few other areas in our country for this.
Judge, we also have Humberto Garza representing Congressman Filemon Vela to say a few words on this project as well.
I just want to say, from behalf of the Congress, on behalf of our office, on behalf of South Texas, thank you. And this is truly a project for the region. It is much appreciated. Thank you for the support.
You're welcome, Bert. Yes. Well, good luck, Commissioner. Good luck. Thank you. Item 6A, as I understand, there's no report. Item 6C.
Item 6C, Judge, Commissioners, is a proclamation declaring May 2013 as Mental Health Awareness Month in Hidalgo County. I would like to introduce some representatives from the South Texas Behavioral Health Center. We have Mr. Joe Rodriguez, he's the CEO. Mr. Michael Sauceda is the director. Joe Salazar is the executive representative. And they're going to say a few words on behalf of the South Texas Behavioral Health Center in regards to Mental Health Awareness Month, and then we have a proclamation afterwards. Mr. Rodriguez?
Thank you very much. Honorable Judge, Honorable Commissioners, thank you for the invitation. My name is Joe Rodriguez, like they mentioned, and on behalf of South Texas Behavioral Health Center and all the people of Hidalgo County, we celebrate Mental Health Month. Since 1949, May has been observed as Mental Health Month Awareness, a time when advocates and activists across the country draw attention to the mental health issues that affect as many as 1 in 4 Americans. Today, more people die from suicide in the United States than from traffic accidents or homicides. And we lose about 25 soldiers to suicide to every one lost in combat. Unfortunately, because of the stigma associated with mental illness, many people are too ashamed or embarrassed to seek help. They need for themselves and their loved ones. National Mental Health Awareness Month is a time when we get together and break the stigma. We express compassion to those who struggle with mental illness, and we draw attention to the proven methods that can help change their lives for a better lifestyle. We are committed at South Texas Behavioral Health Center. We have been committed throughout the whole valley since 1989, but more so, we've been more and more involved. We started in Laredo yesterday, just bringing some awareness, and also to Hidalgo County. The numbers are staggering. The number of people that are committing suicide, the number of people that are suffering from mental illness also are staggering. We are very involved with the school districts right now, working with our youth because they're going to be our future. So we're working with all the school districts on what we call the Jason Foundation. So again, I know we're pressed for time, and I could go on and on to talk about all the issues that affect our everyday lives here in Hidalgo County and across the nation. But I want to thank the commissioners and the judge and all of you in Hidalgo County for supporting such a great act in Mental Health Month awareness. Thank you very much for all your support.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Move for approval, Judge. You need action.
Need a second? Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I did want to add that the South Texas Behavioral Health Center has offered to provide in-service to employees of the county. So if, with your permission, we can schedule with departments. And it is for awareness about depression and other mental illness. So thank you very much for approving this proclamation. And if we can have a quick picture.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, thank you for what you do. Item 6D is in David.
Item 60, Judge Commissioners, approval of a proclamation for National Police Week. We have with us representative from the Sheriff's Office, Lieutenant Richard Osuna, Commander Rene Gonzalez, and Captain Gabriel Castañeda. This item, Judge, today we're honoring all law enforcement officers who serve our communities and protect our cities and county every day. Yesterday, the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office had their annual Fallen Heroes ceremony, where they took a moment to honor the 5 deputies who have lost their lives while serving for Hidalgo County. And as a token of our appreciation, we are here to honor all law enforcement officers with this proclamation in conjunction with National Police Week. If you would like to say a few words.
On behalf of the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Felipe Trevino, we thank you for this proclamation.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners. Can you take a picture? There you go. Yeah.
Take a picture.
As we're taking a picture, I would like to read the names of the members of the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office who lost their lives that we honor. Deputy Sheriff Sam R. Tidwell, Deputy Sheriff George Bennett, Deputy Sheriff Alvin Marcellus Albrecht, Narcotics Investigator Manuel Abelardo Segovia Jr., and Deputy Benito Eduardo Bravo. We honor them on this week.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item 6E.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Michael Leo, County Judge's Office for Bobby Villarreal, Economic Development Director. 6C, approval of interlocal agreement by and among City of La Villa, Hidalgo County, and Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone Number 1, City of La Villa, allowing for Hidalgo County to participate in the Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone. Just quick background, the interlocal was already approved by the court back in December 28th, subject to legal and auditor's review. After final review and modifications, the item is now being brought back to court with approval from legal and auditors asking for the court's approval.
It's all been reviewed by the attorney and
Yes, Commissioner.
by the auditor?
Yes, Commissioner.
Move for approval.
I think that the issue was according to Precinct 1 staff, the zone might not be, might need to be moved.
Might what?
Might be moved.
Yeah, the zone might not be, or the area might need to be moved somewhere else.
Well, if it's moved, we have to bring it back, won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you amend this,
Is
Steve?
the amount of,
If the
is
zone
the same, is it not 50% and how many years?
Correct, 20 years. In accordance with the policy, 50% M&O, 20 years, and that
Oh, we
stays the
have
Can
same.
it be
amend that
amended
and come back?
in case we need to bring it back?
We have to
Yeah.
amend it, Steve, or what?
Not yet.
No, but if they bring it back.
If they have to bring it back, we have to cancel this one and.
All right,
Okay.
we have a
We'll look
motion
at
and a
it.
second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Valde, item 7.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners. There's no action under item 7A, 1 and 2 at this time unless there's action to be taken further down the agenda. Judge, I'm going to skip item B, as I'm sure the court will appreciate item C. I have Mr. Scott Edler from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife in the audience. Mr. Edler, if I could ask you to come to the podium.
Another check.
Item C is presentation and acceptance of check by U.S. Fish and Wildlife to Hidalgo County.
Honorable Judge, Commissioners, on behalf of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the Lower Rio Grande Valley National Wildlife Refuge, Santa Ana National Wildlife Refuge, I'd like to present a check for $98,410.
Wow.
I'll take it.
We need action for that, Valdes. Move for approval.
Yes, sir. Before he takes it back.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried, unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, have him hold it like anything.
Thank you, sir. Hello, I did bad.
Déjame dar la vuelta. No, play it.
Okay, Valde, item D.
Item D, Judge, Commissioners. I'm asking the court to accept the settlement check from Old American Insurance Company in the amount of $691.60. This will settle an auto accident with one of our county vehicles.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
In item E, I'm also asking the court to accept the settlement check from Dairyland Insurance Company in the amount of $327.40.
Move for approval.
Second.
Thank you.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Eight.
Item 8, our constables, precinct 1.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Martin Blanco, Constable's Office, Precinct Number 1. First thing I have is a discussion and consideration and approval to appoint Roberto Alvarez as deputy for Constable by Constable Avila for Constable Precinct 1 in accordance with the Texas Local Government Code, Section 86.011.
Move
for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. The second item I have is a discussion, consideration, and approval to appoint Frank Zavala as a reserve deputy constable by Constable Celestino Avila Jr., Constable Precinct 1 in accordance with Texas Local Government Code 86.012.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Item 9, our HR. Good morning.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Sylvia Rios and Nerida Garza with Human Resources. The first item is the tax office. Approval to decrease auto allowance in the amount of $600 for slot 0019, effective next full pay period.
Move for approval.
Second.
Item 2, approval to...
Those in, hold on. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Go ahead.
Okay, item 2, approval to increase auto allowance in the amount of $600 for slot 0021, effective next full pay period.
Move for approval.
Yes,
Valde,
2
on
and
this
3.
here, they're increasing the, because we have a set auto allowance for everybody.
Right. They're offsetting, Commissioner. They're reassigning it from one slot to another slot.
But they're not getting more than the other ones.
No, it's just a reassignment of the slot.
Okay.
Whatever the dollar amount is in one
Yeah.
slot, they've deemed, I would presume they've deemed that
Yes.
slot or the individual no longer warrants it, and they're moving it over to someone else who wants
Yes,
it.
one will be traveling more than the
Okay.
other.
Yes.
And finally, approval.
You have a motion, second.
You gotta approve it.
Yeah. Both 2 and 3. huh?
2 and 3, yeah.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, item B, for the Sheriff's Office substation, approval to create the following full-time positions. Slot number 0002 through 0010, there's 9 sergeants in the amount of $50,733. Slot 001 to 0005, 5 positions for sergeant in the amount of $42,076. Slot 0011 to 0013, 3 positions for deputy sheriff in the amount of $39,140. Slot 001, 1 position for lieutenant in the amount of $55,805. Slot 0014, 1 position, administrative assistant 4, in the amount of $37,109. Slot 0006 to 0023, 18 positions for detention officers, the amount of $31,364. And finally, 0015 to 0022, 8 positions, administrative assistant 1, in the amount of $24,087.
But there's the money there and everything?
We've got some monies identified, but Judge Commissioners, just for the record, I do want to make sure that it's clear that it's per slot. There's 18
Per slot.
per slot, right?
Okay,
That's
move
not
for
the
approval on 1,
Second.
2, and 3.
Judge. there has
Subject
be
to
a-
funding.
No, there has to be a correction made. The account number should be 038 instead of 038 and 39, so therefore the slot numbers need to be adjusted because they're going to overlap.
Can I get
So
Sergio,
there's going to be a
can you-
correction made.
Right, Sergio, can you address the slot numbers? I mean, the account number?
Actually, in regards to the program numbers that were created for this substation, the sheriff has requested if we could place all the patrol deputies, the patrol sergeants, and the patrol staff under his Program 001 account, which is the general sheriff's office program number. This is more of an accounting reasoning for that. Also, he would like to have all the jail personnel, which are listed on the agenda as Program 039, to be under his Program 002, the regular jail budget. The reason for that is has to do more with the shifting of personnel from the jail to the substation on the detention officer side. If there's detention officers that are in this program number that are out, he's going to have to be rotating individuals. The same thing for the sergeants. If any of the sergeants that are under this program get assigned to any specific task force, he would have to switch over sergeants from his regular Program 001 into this substation. For that reason, the sheriff has requested that we just, instead of creating 2 new program numbers for the sheriff personnel, he would want to keep them under Program 1 and Program 2 if the court is amenable to that.
But that's going to defeat the purpose of accounting for calls separately, because now everything is going to be under the sheriff. Might as well put all of them under the sheriff's office.
Yeah, and that is exactly what he would like to do, is place all of the patrol staff under the sheriff's Program 1 and all of his detention staff under Program 2, and for him just to allocate. The number of personnel that are being created today are going to be assigned to the substation. However, he will have to be moving personnel back and forth.
You will be working with him later.
Yes, and we would recommend that we do that. And if court could approve it as is, we would bring back an item next week to realign the program numbers and to realign the slot numbers as well, as it won't be necessarily the way it is here. But at least if we can get it approved today, he can start the advertisement for these positions and start getting the personnel on board so that he's able to open up the substation on July 1st as the court had wanted him to.
Judge, but the issue that
This position, then, was to be effective July 1st.
That is correct, sir.
By starting the process earlier, that's going to compromise.
Starting the process early would be able to get them into the training that they need as far as on the detention office.
but getting paid, the pay period won't begin until July.
I would need to defer back to the sheriff's office. I believe we did have budgeted the funds on this item. We did put additional funds to have the process started earlier.
We're creating 45 positions.
That's correct,
and
sir.
How much money does that equal to?
The total amount for these positions for this year is $1,351,000.
For the year or for 6 months?
For the remainder of this year.
I
For next
wasn't-
year, it'll be roughly $2.1 million.
Yeah, Valde, did we talk about 800 and something thousand being the figure?
That's the dollar amount needed to finish out at 100% from, for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
At 100%. Because remember, there's two parts to this: the jail side and all its personnel and associated costs, and the law enforcement side and its personnel and associated costs.
So the cost is 1,351,000, but because it's only,
Right, it's
9
prorated.
months or whatever, it's
Yes.
prorated.
But
You'll be a
again,
little over 2 million.
I caution you, the intent behind what the court has approved was July 1st.
Right.
Commissioner,
Commissioner,
by the
right,
time the
and-
process happens, it'll
right, and
probably
Commissioner,
be
I can
July
assure
1st,
you
I guess.
that there will not be a cost overrun, that the dollars allocated are going to fall in line with the intent of opening up the substation and us having the funds available to finish out the rest of this year.
Judge,
Yes.
the reason that I had made the recommendation, and we had discussed it with budget, and to do it the way I recommended is because for accounting purposes, whenever you want to account for costs associated with a particular building or operation, it makes it easier because, see, the substation, as far as we're concerned, is one building, is one operation. You got jailers that are going to be involved, and you got deputies that are also going to be involved. At the regular sheriff operation, we got two buildings, and we account for those costs separately because it's easier to do that. In this case, it's only one building, so it will be difficult to separate the costs associated with the jailers and the costs associated with the law enforcement.
May
So
I
that's what we
address that?
suggested, to just have one unit, and it's all going to be accounted for.
Right, I think you can work that out with a budget.
Well, we already did. We visited with budget yesterday, and we recommended, and they accepted. Now they want to change it, and what I'm saying is, for accounting purposes, it makes it difficult to account for costs associated with this operation.
Did you want to make a comment, sir?
Yes, sir. Even though it's going to be two complete buildings, it's still one operation. It's a sheriff's office operation. And logistically, to have slots just assigned there, when, if we're short on the west side, people will be moving, do we have to come Commissioner's Court every time we're going to
Yeah.
move somebody? A sergeant gets transferred to gang unit. Every time a schedule changes, we're going to have to come to Commissioner's Court to move somebody to that
Right.
slot. Every schedule change, it could be a different jailer over at the
You already
at the
do that for
substation.
the courthouse security, you do that all the time.
Yeah,
You
but
move
if they're-
people from one to the other.
But that's a courthouse security 8 to 5, where we know that they're going to be here all the time.
No, what I'm
On
saying
this,
is,
it's going to be the county as a whole. The operation is still the same as we're operating now.
no, what I'm saying is, whenever you move deputies from the regular operation to courthouse security, you move the slots.
Yeah, but this could be changing monthly, weekly, daily, to assign those slot
it'd be
numbers
hard to-
over just towards the substation. We wouldn't be able, logistically, we wouldn't be able to operate that way.
So the motion would be to approve the creation of the 45 positions that were stated.
Yeah, on 1,
Yes,
2, and 3.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
Thank you.
Item 10,
Sheriff's Office.
Judge, Commissioners, Richard Ozuna, Sheriff's Office, Hidalgo County, on behalf of the Sheriff Guadalupe Lupe Trevino. Ms. Marty. Regards to item 10A, can we get
Yes.
some assistance from the Purchasing Department?
what are those invoices to take care of our canines, or?
Yes, sir.
It's for the health and safety of our dogs as we take them out on a daily basis to make sure and ensure that they're in tip-top shape.
Well, these are necessary services so that they can in turn render the services they need to do to protect the citizens of the county. I was going to suggest that they did send me information this morning that we could issue a purchase order for those services, as they were urgent and necessary to maintain the health of the canine so that the Sheriff's Department can properly render the services to protect the citizens of the county.
Can you enter into a contract, Marty? Because we get these claims almost on a weekly basis.
Correct. We We have an agreement that was approved in April, but these are prior to that.
Oh, okay.
These are prior to that.
Move for
But they
approval.
did send me something.
Second.
And that would be to pay those four
Yeah, those four
invoices
items, yeah.
listed as item 10A. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Now, on the second one, this is a situation where a vehicle had been burned, correct? Had been in an accident.
It'd been
It would-
reconditioned.
And it needed to be reconditioned. It was taken to be painted. While in the paint shop, it was noticed that the emblems
Extra stuff.
were not included in the original request on the purchase order. A purchase order increase was requested, but it was not accepted by the auditor's office. I believe it's very related to the original PO, and a purchase order increase would, I believe, correct the situation. Your
Well, but-
staff, though, did return it, that they are no longer accepting that. I believe that the emblems and what was added is directly into the service that was rendered.
Right. Marty, but you understand what the issue is, so in my opinion, all they had to do was call you and tell you, Marty, we need to add whatever, because otherwise I won't be able to pay because it's equipment that was purchased, and you did not approve the purchase order initially, so.
Correct, but they did submit a PO increase, and I did approve that, but yet it was denied.
Right.
It wasn't accepted, I'll put it that way.
But was it done right away? I would have to look into particulars, but if it was requested right after the work was done,
That I don't recall,
You
when
know,
it was
Mr.
requested.
Alfaracio, if we're going to continue doing this, everything you're coming up with, pretty soon we're not going to have any vendors in the county. We need to pay for this.
we have a lot of vendors.
No, but I mean, though, if we agree with what you're saying, I mean, it seems like every week we do it, and you're asking.
Well,
So
I
move
just
for approval?
believe in this particular case, the purchase
Second.
order increase would have been
Like I said,
appropriate.
I had to look at
All
the
right.
particulars, but if for some reason I cannot pay, I just cannot pay.
Well, you just got authority
Well,
to.
we'll get
they
to that
just
if it
approved
happens,
it anyway.
I guess. We have a motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, Commissioners, thank you.
I'm sorry, I was
Item 11.
Morning, Judge Commissioners. Eddie Olivares, Hidalgo County Health Human Services. Item 11A, sir, there isn't any discussion unless there's questions from the Commissioners Court. Item 11B is approval of letter to Health and Human Services Commission in reference to the direction to issue all past and future uncompensated care payments based on a pro rata share of uncompensated care provided by each of our providers. What this does, sir, is just says that the court is authorizing the state to distribute the money to all the hospitals under UC based on uncompensated care formula that they have. And the state continues to distribute the money based on the formula that they developed. It's not being directed by Commissioner's Court or anyone else how to distribute the money. The state determines that. And it's based on uncompensated care. So that's the overall gist of the letter.
So we take our money, we put it in a pot, they multiply it to that formula that they have, they get it, then they divide it.
That's correct, sir. We have no say-so on how the money is divided.
And you need action for that.
Pardon me?
You need action?
Second.
Yes,
Move for
but,
approval.
yeah, okay.
Judge, a comment on that. I visited with Eddie on this here because my understanding is that the only responsibility the Hidalgo County has is to contribute the IGT. And we do that, we just did that transfer of $8 million. And what I asked Eddie, if he has asked the question of, are we going to jeopardize Hidalgo County's participation into the program by directing the state to distribute the monies? Because this is the way it's done.
Right.
My understanding is that we contribute the money, the state multiplies it, and they distribute it themselves, and we're not aware,
Right.
as far as I know, how it's distributed.
Right.
So now we're directing them on how to distribute it, and that was the only concern that I had.
I did not ask that question. However, I know we reviewed this information with Steve, and Steve, can you give input on that, please?
According to the letter, all we're asking the state to do is distribute the money under their formula.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, item C, sir, is pursuant to Chapter 121 Local Health Reorganization Act, Section 121.006, requesting approval for the immunization sliding fee schedule effective May 14, 2013. The sliding fee schedule includes a revised vaccination administration fee. The state of Texas has increased their administrative share cost for their part from $14 to $20. All we're doing is getting permission from court to make those adjustments so we can collect that money appropriately and follow through with the procedures at hand.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item D, sir, is requesting approval to accept the memorandum of agreement between Hidalgo County and the University of Texas Health Science Center. The aim of this agreement is to establish an agreement for the exchange of information and cooperative research between both institutions in the field of reportable communicable diseases. In this case, it's tuberculosis program, sir. This is an ongoing research program right with the University of Texas. All it is, we're extending the program.
Move for approval.
Second.
There is no money or commitment from our part at all. It's just permission for them to be part of the program.
Those in favor of the motion and second indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much, sir.
Item 12.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Oscar Montoya with the Office of Emergency Management. We had a meeting on the 9th this last month where we invited the city leaders and water managers. We also invited the irrigation districts, one from each irrigation district, one representative, and also representative from all the water providers. It was very well attended. Out of the 67 we invited, we had 59 show up. The message was that the judge and the commissioner's court were in favor of working as a team to figure out how we could go forward with improving our water situation. The meeting went well. The proof will be in the pudding a little bit later on as to see how things are going, but the Rio Grande Regional Water Authority and the Texas Water Commission Board were very excited with what went on, and they're currently working together. They should be sending out some emails here in the next week or so towards trying to see various ways of doing funding capabilities to assist these cities and the farmers. I think it's important to note that the cities are still working together to help each other. There's nobody in Hidalgo County currently using push water. There's nobody in danger of having to use push water for at least another 60 days. These rains have helped. We're not out of drought. So it's important that we send out the message to the community to continue to do the conservation efforts that they're doing. Any other reports that I get from the cities, I'll try and send them out as an email. But like I said, everybody's working very well together. The meeting went well. We're hoping to get some feedback here pretty quick. Cameron and Willacy will probably be meeting here in the near future to push the regional planning efforts.
All right, sir.
Also,
Before
I wanted
you
to
step
thank.
down, I want to congratulate you and Mr. Olivares for organizing our hurricane conference. It was very well attended, very well organized, and very productive. And so was that summit, our conference on water shortage for our county.
Yes, sir. Our staff worked extremely hard to put it together, and especially on a short notice. But, you know, quite frankly, the Commissioner's Court and you, Judge, if it hadn't been for y'all's commitment to this, we wouldn't have been able to do it. We got a lot of compliments and a lot of thanks on behalf of the people that were there for the Commissioner's Court. So I want to thank you.
Thank you. Item 13, facilities management.
Judge, Commissioners, Daniel Flores, Facilities Management. Item 13A, I'd like no action on that. 13B, this is requesting approval to process the following invoices for Worth Hydrochem as a claim with authority for county auditor, treasurer to issue payment after review and auditing procedure was complete by county auditor. What happened here was we had submitted a requisition for the services. The company could not come up with its insurances, but during that time span, they still performed services to the buildings unbeknownst to the department. Those were one in December and two in January. One at the courthouse and one at the administration building.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Yep.
Item 14, our IT department.
Apologize, getting some last-minute direction there.
Yes, sir.
Judge, good morning. Judge, Commissioners, on 14A, I'm going to take no action, request no action on 14A. 14B is just the reactivation on a cellular phone for Commissioner Precinct 1. Request approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries. Thank you.
Have a great morning.
Item 15, our HIDA Task Force.
Anybody can take that.
Mr. Guerra?
Judge, HIDA is asking for no action at this time. They'll bring this back at a later date, sir.
Okay.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning. Item 16, Urban County. Good morning, Ms. Sedna.
The first item on the agenda is requesting the consideration and approval of the following, which is the resolution authorizing the submission of its 2013-2014 Colonia Construction Grant application in the amount of $500,000. This will be hopefully for a subdivision in Precinct 4. However, we still need to determine whether or not that subdivision qualifies, but we'd like to submit our application.
Move for approval.
Second.
As to 1 and 2, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is a request on behalf of the City of La Jolla requesting authority to purchase fire protection equipment through Hidalgo County's membership and participation with the BI Board, which is to be done through the Texas Association of School Boards. The amount will be $15,137.30.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item is requesting the approval of an amendment to a professional engineering services contract with Dos Logistics. The amendment will increase the contract amount of $874,911 by $117,500. This amount will include the work for new services consisting of meets and bounds. Exhibits for each parcel shall also be provided, signed and sealed by a Texas registered professional land surveyor, and this is for the project in relationship to the East Lateral.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Was the original contract,
$800,000?
yes, was that for surveying or was that for engineering?
No, that was for the actual engineering.
Engineering.
Okay,
This contract will be done, it's adding on the surveying now.
all right, go ahead.
Thank you. Item D is a request on behalf of the City of La Villa requesting the authorization to cancel an existing contract with Noe Garza Engineers in the amount of $12,032.46 for a project related to an activity in 2003 and 2005.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E is also a request on behalf of the City of La Villa requesting the cancellation of an existing contract with Noe Garza Engineers in the amount of $15,609.50 for a 2011 water and sewer project.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
F is on behalf of Precinct Number 1 requesting the approval and award of the best and final negotiated contract with Millennium Engineers Group in the amount of $17,698.25 for a year 22, which is a 2009 funding, for a street improvement project on Minnesota between Valverde and Dillon Road.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item G is on behalf of the City of Mercedes requesting the authority to purchase fire station equipment for the Mercedes Fire Department. The purchase will be through Wilson Fire Rescue, through an approved vendor, also identified as Hidalgo County's membership and participation with the CGAC. The amount of the purchase will be $11,035.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 17, our Elections Office.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. We are 17A. There is no action. We will be removing that as we already have appointed the members to the vote centers, and they are working diligently. We will be meeting with them again this Thursday for an update. What Amanda is handing out to you is just so that you note on your calendars that we have set up Commissioners Court workshop, and the topic will be security for elections. It has been set for Thursday, June 6th at 10 a.m. We will be talking with your office, Judge, for the location. Probably it will be at our warehouse. We will be talking with Elections Systems and Software Security Services, who are the vendors that provide the DREs. I will be talking with the District Attorney's Office also for the security part with my office. So please note this on your calendars. The public will be invited. We will be able to vote on the machines and ask questions, and we will, as I said, we will work with your office to set this workshop up so that in whatever way you would like this to be set up, we will set it up for you all. Please call my office if you have any ideas and suggestions.
You think that's big enough, and if the response turns out to be positive?
So that's why we probably need to, I'll be working with Karina so that she can also publicize it, so maybe we need to look for a larger venue. So I'll work with Karina and with your office to see if maybe we can find a larger venue.
Thank you.
Okay, so item 17B. Again, with the vote centers, I am to hold a public hearing to consider public comments on the county's Hidalgo's participation in the Texas Secretary of State's pilot program for countywide election day poll places.
At this time, we're convening this public hearing to listen to public comments involving our vote centers. Anyone here desiring to make any comments, any statements in support of or against the creation of these voting centers to be acted on election day?
Judge, Commissioners, I'm on this board that's working on these vote centers. It's a tough job. Some of them are capable, some of them are debatable. But we are working very diligently on it and hoping to have all this information into Mrs. Ramon this Thursday before our deadline.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, my comment's not going to be as a commissioner. I was approached by some of the committee members, and basically it's a daunting task that they do have, but some of the things that are of concern is the amount of voting centers we will be having, assuring that they're strategically placed, obviously, so that we don't disenfranchise voters. I have not seen anything. We've done our fair share of looking at maps, existing sites, and things of that nature, so I look forward to continue working with you guys.
Definitely.
And ensuring that every committee is pretty much ultimately satisfied with the work that we end up.
And that is why it was very important that the members that each of you selected were knowledgeable of the area. For example, Commissioner Flores' representatives knew the area immediately. They knew exactly where the poll locations were, and they knew how far one location was from another. That's very, very critical to the success of their work. Sometimes it takes a little longer because there are locations that are very limited in the buildings that are available to us. And so it is a daunting task, and we do this for every election. And what is key, Commissioner, is that we keep November general election in mind. My staff and I have to regroup and remind ourselves that we're not looking at May, we're not looking at primaries, we're looking at November general election. And as we work with our cities and our schools for those May elections, then we will broaden our mindset. For example, McAllen, that has single-member district, we've got Ms. Villarreal on the committee because it's key, and we also have Ms. Walker from Weslaco because it is key that they give us their input, being single-member district. And so they wanted me to give them a number, and I said, the number is the need. Let's not start off with a number and try to box ourselves into this is the number of vote centers. No, what is the need of our community? And that should be our goal.
Well, good. That's the perfect mindset to have.
Okay. Any other comments? If none, we'll close. At this time, we're going to be closing our public hearing and proceeding. And thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Item 18, Texas Agri-Life Extension Service.
Judge, I'm going to ask Mr. Ramirez to present this item.
Yeah, I'll cover this item, Judge. Good morning again. We don't necessarily manage their bill, but as is my understanding is the local long distance contract they were on expired in December, and they're just covering, they are now on contract, but they're just covering the invoices for the 3 months that they were off. We actually assisted them in getting on contract, and we're just requesting approval 18A to handle these invoices as claims.
What's the total?
$59.91.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 19, Mr. Silguero.
Morning, Judge Commissioners. Raul Silguero representing Commissioner Palacios. I just want to state for the record that I return all phone calls that I'm aware of or that have been brought to my attention, comments to the contrary notwithstanding. Item 19A is requesting approval of interlocal cooperation agreement. This is requesting to enter into an agreement, and the agreement is actually an approval of an interlocal between the City of San Juan and the County of Hidalgo to improve Thomas Road.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 3 is approval to enter into another agreement for the same project, and this is requesting approval of interlocal cooperation agreement between the City of FAR and the County of Hidalgo to improve Thomas Road for that portion that is in the City of FAR.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 20,
Thank you.
Precinct 3.
Excuse me, Judge.
Yes.
On the previous section, it was 2 and 3.
Was it 1, 2, 3, and 4 were approved?
Yes,
Yes.
1, 2, 3, and 4. One applied to San Juan, the other one applied to FAR. Go ahead, Mr. Villarreal.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Item 28, requesting approval to process the following invoice as claimed with authority for County Treasurer to issue payment after review, audit, processing procedures are completed by County Auditor. The PO number is 689012, and the invoice is 9163.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 21, our Budget Office.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners, Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget Management. Item 21A is approval of appropriation of funds for the Precinct 2 Road Maintenance Program 006 in the amount of $921,000.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 21B is discussion, consideration, and approval to submit the Texas Vine reimbursement maintenance invoice in the amount of $7,293.50 for the third quarter, and the Texas statewide automated victim notification service, county verification of continuing production record, with authority for the county judge to sign the required documents. This is on the Vine grant.
So
Move for
moved.
approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 22, Purchasing.
Yes. We're going to, sorry, let me just get to my page. We're going to 22A12, A, B, and C, nothing to report or action to be taken. Under item B, there is a concern. This is, let me go ahead and answer the concern first. They were recommending, it's a point of information that the insurance is going to be expiring this month. However, we have already informed the vendor, and he's usually very punctual about getting us the renewal. I recommend action.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C1, this is requesting approval to process the following invoices and with the county treasurer to issue payment after the auditing procedures are completed. This is for Precinct 3, Hinojosa Engineering, with the invoices as listed.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
That was item CD. Item D1 for Precinct 4, presentation of award of sole responding qualifying vendor Royce Hauling that submitted bid and met all all specifications and requirements with approval of the contract for hauling services for hot mix.
Move for
We had
approval.
5 participants.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Let me just state for the record on item 2 and 3, we've already submitted the information on the limits that were requested on the concern for the project, and they've been handed over to Ms. Letty Chavez, as well as to my office. We're requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262-024A4, a professional service.
So moved.
Marty, we received the boundaries for this project, and what we learned that when we received that information is that this project is going to be inside the McAllen city limits. So we're going to need an interlocal agreement.
I'll defer to
There is an
the
interlocal
precinct 4
agreement.
staff.
Where road, Marcos?
Good morning, Commissioner, Judge. This project is a cooperative agreement between the City of McAllen and the Precinct 4, and TxDOT. Right now, we're in the process of getting the advanced funding agreements that's going to be given from the state to the two entities that are going to be involved. So that's what the holdup is. And when that happens, we'll get the interlocal agreement.
Yeah, but in order to start construction inside the city limits, you need the interlocal agreement. So you'll get it later on once you start the construction?
Subject to.
Face it?
Subject to.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
All right, going on to item B, presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking of the firms graded and evaluated. Those were LNG at 99, Quintanilla, Headley and Associate at 95, and Guzman and Munoz at 93. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Move to approve.
Check.
Those in favor, excuse me, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 3 would be to allow the purchasing department to negotiate with LNG, the number 1 ranked for a contract.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 3 is requesting exemption under 262-024A for a professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The scoring grid is presented of the 3 firms that were evaluated and graded. Those are Lefevre Environmental at 98, Quintanilla Headley at 94, and Robert Kistner at 95. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
We ask for authority to
Marty, you
negotiate.
said that the project boundaries were already been provided?
Yes, sir,
All right,
on
thank
both
you.
projects, yes, sir.
Thank you.
To negotiate with the number 1 rank of Lefevre.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E1 is acceptance and approval of the final negotiated contract with David M. Castro for registered pharmacist.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
This is under budget and management appointment and or designation of Hidalgo County Commissioners Court to select and assign evaluation committee for the scoring of the proposals for the RFP of actuarial services for GASB 43 and 45, OPEB, health benefits reserved for Hidalgo County. Who does the court wish to assign?
Judge Commissioners, I would recommend that we assign Angelica Tapia from Employee Benefits and also Flora Vasquez, and then any other member that the court would wish to assign.
I'll include Yolanda.
Yolanda Chapa?
Yes.
Raúl Lozano.
Chris Trevino.
This is going to be for the health insurance, right?
This is health insurance. Basically, this is on the actuarial, just basically services to determine what the reserve requirements are.
On our benefits.
On our benefits. Usually, I think it's usually been Ms. Flora Vasquez, and I believe somebody from purchasing that would usually do the rankings. Normally, the committee, the ranking committee was usually
That will do the scoring.
small. We've never had a large group, but whatever.
Are you
the
going
court
to be
decides.
part of the committee?
Excuse me?
Are you going to be part of the committee?
I was going to have Ms. Vasquez and Ms. Tapia from my office be part of the committee.
Sergio, do we ever participate in that evaluation?
I believe y'all have participated previously. I believe the last go-around, I don't think you were a part of that process, but the year before, I know Ms. Fong had been very active in that as well, since really this information that's produced by these studies are used for our financial report. So your office...
You wish to add someone, I mean, if the court permits
Judge,
it?
because that's what I had suggested in the past. I think whenever you assign committees, you need to assign individuals that are subject matter experts as opposed to just folks that review it.
The user departments.
Yeah, the user departments or.
Yes.
I don't think the prison would be.
That was the
using
reason
it.
for my two recommendations for the
Mona.
two individuals from my office, yes.
Put Mona on that one.
Mona, okay.
And then, does he want to be part of it or what?
Yes, he's recommending that we,
can
you want
sign
Ms.,
something
do you want
Yeah.
Ms. Fong again, or
I don't have any problem with that.
Linda Fong? Okay.
What about Commissioner Palacios?
I put Chris Trevino.
Yes, I already got that down.
All right. You got all the names? We
Yes,
need a
yes,
motion
sir. I
to,
believe it was Angelica Tapia, Flora Vasquez, Mona Precinct 3, Linda Fong from the Auditor's Office, Yolanda Chapa, Raul Lozano, Chris Trevino, and Commissioner Hector Palacios? Raul Siguera. Okay. Thank you.
and the auditor, I think.
Yes, I got Linda Fong. Item G1,
Do I
Colonia
need a
Access.
motion to approve?
Yes, sir, I do.
Move for approval.
Second.
And those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Requesting approval to reject all bids submitted pursuant to Article 3 of the legal notice and requesting authority to re-advertise, and this is for Colonia Access Projects A and B as listed on the agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
On item H1, this is Colonia Access Precinct 4. This is requesting approval to replace Exhibit D1 with corrected Exhibit D. On work authorization 2 with a proposed fee of $8,840 with Quintanilla Headley and Associates. This is on round 3, Home
Move.
Drive subdivision.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse my raspiness.
Pursuant to 55107.1 and 072, need a motion to proceed to executive
Move for
session.
approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. It is now 10:58. We'll be in executive session for about 30 minutes. All right, we're back in open session. Mr. Guerra?
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
Nothing under real estate, nothing under pending or potential.
Right. Under item 24C, Judge Commissioners, C 245713E, Elsa Flores individually and as a representative of the estate of Maria Elsa Flores versus Donna Irrigation District in Hidalgo County et al. Judge Commissioners, I'd like to refer back to items 7A, 1 and 2. Item 7A, request an exemption from the competitive bidding requirements. That's under the Local Government Code, Section 2620224A4. That would be a professional service for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 7A2, I'm requesting the engagement with the firm of Atlas Hall and Rodriguez for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation and authority to submit a letter of engagement specifically as it pertains to item 24C, C 245713E, Elsa Flores individually and as representative of the estate of Maria Elsa Flores versus Donna Irrigation District, Hidalgo County et al.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 24D, claim of Kismet Leal. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $281.68.
Move for approval.
Second.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 24E, claim of Pedro Mendoza Cruz. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $6,500 in settlement of property and bodily injury claim.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And the last one, Judge, Commissioners 24F, claim of Maria de Jesus Mendoza. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $1,000 towards a bodily injury claim.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
All right, motion to adjourn.
So
Move
moved.
for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
You'll do this tomorrow.